Hey guys, welcome back to another deep dive video. Today we're going to be talking about the most underrated Pokemon, one of the lowest ranked Pokemon on PvPoke's list. We're going to be talking about the virtual Pokemon himself, Porygon. But not just any Porygon, Fire Hidden Power Porygon. Before we get into that video, I would like to thank all my Patreon members for all their help and support. Today's video is going to be dedicated to License to Draw. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon member, and I will be shouting out a new Patreon in the upcoming videos. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all PvP and Silph Arena content. Now on to the video. Porygon is a normal type Pokemon. That means he is going to be taking neutral damage from everything in the meta except the fighting types. Yes, counter is going to be super effective against our Porygon, but we will be taking not effective damage against any ghost type move like Ninjask Shadow Ball or Munchlax with Lick. But again, that's not very common in the Jungle Cup. With him being super weak to fighting moves, that means Porygon is going to be super risky to use in the Jungle Cup. But if used correctly, he could actually pay off. Very, very helpful. But again, it's super risky. Remember that. Getting into the movesets, number one, you're going to need Hidden Power with Fire typing. If you do not have Hidden Power with Fire typing, do not use Porygon. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. He's pretty terrible even with Hidden Power. So if you don't have Hidden Power, just no. So now we know Fire Hidden Power is a fast move. So now we're gonna be going on to the charge move. And this is one of the main reasons to why Porygon is pretty terrible. His charge moves pool is extremely high energy needed. The moves are gonna consist of Hyper Beam, Solar Beam, and Zap Cannon. Yeah, pretty terrible moveset that will take forever to charge. But if someone is to pull off a Hyper Beam with some miracle and it is unshielded, that would be epic! Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. Porygon does have some decent legacy charge moves. His legacy charge moves are going to consist of Discharge, Psybeam, and Signal Beam. Now if you somehow managed to get a Porygon with Fire Hidden Power and a legacy charge move, I will quit instantaneously. Like, I will forfeit the match is yours, and because you, sir, are a god. If you haven't managed to get any of these legacy moves, the movesets I would prefer are going to be Hyper Beam and Zap Cannon. Hyper Beam to be able to do a very big neutral damage hit, or Zap Cannon to be able to do a huge hit on any of the flyers. Yes, if you manage to hit a Noctowl with a Zap Cannon, it is a one-shot. But again, these movesets require a lot of energy, and Porygon isn't the beefiest Pokemon, so don't be surprised if you're not even able to pull it off. His key matchups are going to be with anything with a Steel typing. So that is going to be the Bug Steel Pokemon like Fortress or Sizzle, or even Magnezone or Magneton. With the Fire Hidden Power, he's going to be able to just eat those Pokemon alive and hopefully have enough energy to be able to pull off a charge move against the following Pokemon. Like we said before, the main counters are going to be the Pokemon with the fighting type moves. So that is going to be Vigoroth and a Heracross. If you are in a matchup where you are switch locked with a Porygon and he has a Vigoroth, he is just going to J-farm you. Just straight up J-farm you. And then when your Porygon goes down, he's gonna have enough energy to possibly pull off 2 or maybe even 3 body slams. So be very careful. Now remember, just because you have a fire fast move does not mean that you're gonna be able to take down the grass types. You will actually lose in majority of the grass matchups. That means you're gonna lose to Venusaur, Meganium, and even the bug types. When using Porygon on your team of 3, you have to make sure, and I mean make sure, you have something to bodyguard that Porygon. You want to make sure you have counters to both the fighting types and the grass types. Now personally, I would use Noctowl and Heracross. This is so we can counter our Porygon counters and also have as much coverage as possible. Now, most people don't know about Porygon, so this is a surprise for you. But if you were able to use this and catch your opponent off guard, this can completely change the matchup for you. Now let's get into some battles and let's see how well we do. Now on to some battles, and we're gonna be starting off with our Vigoroth, and he's gonna be starting also as well as his own Vigoroth. So now we're like, okay, cool. This is a very mixed matchup. This is gonna really matter on the CMP. So now, if you guys don't know what CMP means, it means charge move priority. So we do have our CMP, so we're gonna be hitting him with the body slam as well, and he's gonna be using his shield. So now he's gonna be using his body slam against us, and we're gonna be forced to use our shield as well. But now what we see here is we're like, okay, we know we have a Venusaur in the back. So now we're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna get to this next body slam before he is able to, and we're gonna be either forcing this next shield, or we're gonna be taking out that Vigoroth. So as you see here, we forced that next shield. So now we're like, you know what? No problem. Take out our Vigoroth. We're cool with it because we know we have a Venusaur in the back that's going to be able to take care of this Vigoroth without being us using both our shields. So now we switch into our Vigoroth. We got our Vigoroth off. Sorry, not our Vigoroth, our Venusaur. And we're going to be hitting him with Vine Whip. And we're going to just try to take out that Vigoroth. And we're able to get him out. We're able to finish him off without him able to use a body slam, which is huge for us because body slam would have been able to do a lot of damage to us, and we know he has a fortress, but we have a Porygon in the back, and we're like, okay, we know how well Porygon does, and we're like, okay, this is great. We're counting those bug bites. We know we're able to pull off a second frenzy plant. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use that frenzy plant, and now we're gonna be able to just do as much damage as we can to that fortress because we know we have Porygon in the back. So now we're gonna let our Venusaur go down to his rock tomb, and we're gonna be coming in with our Porygon. Now Porygon is just gonna go to work with that fire hidden power, and we're like, this is amazing. We're gonna finish him off, and we're like, okay, man, these charge moves take way too long, just way too long, and we're like, okay, we gotta hope for this. But remember, we have a shield in the back, and he has no shields, so we're like, this is amazing. We're gonna use our shield here. We're gonna be able to shield that sky attack, and now we have our Zap Cannon. We're like, yes, Porygon came clutch. We're able to pull it off. So that is gonna be the end of round 1. And as you saw there, Porygon was clutch. But again, it's very situational. We're gonna be going into round 2, and this is kind of where things go a little bit downhill. So now we're gonna be starting off with our Noctowl, and he's gonna be having his Beedrill. So we're gonna be in a very positive matchup. He's gonna switch out of there, and we're like, okay, you know what? We don't really have an answer for a Raichu, so we're like, okay, we gotta just hit it in the mirror. We gotta hit it right in the mirror. So we're gonna be using our Raichu with Thundershock against his Raichu with Thundershock. We counted those Thundershocks, but we knew it was not going to be a wild charge. So now we go in with our own Thunder Punch, and we're like, okay, cool. Now we're going to be either hopefully getting a shield. No, we don't get a shield. So now we know we have a positive matchup against that Raichu. So now we're like, okay, you know what? Okay, we're going to take this Thunder Punch. So now we're like, okay, cool. We're going to be hitting him with a couple more Thundershocks, and we're going to get to that next Thunder Punch. We're using our Thunder Punch and hopefully try to finish off that Raichu, or at least force that shield. No, we do not get the shield, and we're like, okay, he doesn't know that we have nothing else to be able to support against that Raichu. So we're like, okay, we got to keep this Raichu alive. So now we're going to be just trying to hit him off with some Thunder Shocks, and we're trying to get that Raichu down. We're hoping for the best. We're trying to get to it, and we get to it. We're like, amazing. We got it to him, and we're like, okay, we got to get to this wild charge before our Raichu goes down because he's a little bit hesitant on using his shield. So now I was like, maybe we'll get him to think that we're using an actual Thunder Punch. Because now this is our last attack we can use with Raichu because he's about to go down. So we use a wild charge, and he knew we were going to be doing that. So we're like, okay, no problem. Now we're going to be bringing in our Noctowl, and Noctowl is going to be using his Sky Attack, and we're like, yes, we have a very positive matchup. We're going to be forcing that shield, and now he's going to be trying to, oh, he's switching out. He's switching out. He's bringing in his Vigoroth, and we're like, okay, cool. Now we know that we are in some trouble here because we know he has a Vigoroth and a Beedrill. Well, we really need our Noctowl. So we're like, okay, cool. We're gonna shield here. We're not gonna shield here, and we're gonna be hitting him with a Sky Attack. And now we know, we're like, oh man, we should have shielded that. That was an issue. So now we get the Sky Attack off, and now we both have one shield each. And we're like, okay, you know what? We have to try to get to the Sky Attack. We get to it because he was trying to J farm us, and now we're gonna be able to force that shield and get rid of that Vigoroth. So now, as you see here, we're going to be bringing in our Porygon, and now we have to shield because we're in some deep waters right now. Because, again, counter is just going to do so much damage to our Porygon, and he is able to pull off another Body Slam. So now we're in a situation where like, okay, you know what, we have to take these hits, and we're gonna have to do as much damage as we can to this Vigoroth, and then hoping for the best that we could try to get to something against that Beedrill. But again, these charge moves just take way too long to get, and we're like, okay, that's pretty much GG from there. If we were able to pull off at least 1 or 2 fast moves before he got to that charge move, we'd be able to take him out. And that is going to be the end of round 2. And now we're going to be going into round 3. We're going to be starting off with our Vigoroth, and he's going to be starting off with his Raichu. And now we're going to be going ham. We know that we have a decent matchup against that Raichu. We know we're going to be able to win this matchup. We just got to really be careful of that Wild Charge. So now we're going to be hitting with counter, and we're going to get to this Body Slam. We were smashing that Body Slam. It just takes so long. I don't know what's going on with the game. So we're going to be using Body Slam, and then we force the shield. So now we're going to be like, you know what? This is a Wild Charge. We're going to shield here. So now he's like, nope, Thunder Punch. He baited us. He baited us hard. We're like, oh my god, how did he do that? I thought he was gonna go straight Wild Charge. We're like, okay, this must be a Wild Charge. Double shield on the Vigoroth. And yeah, that was an issue. We made some mistakes here. It was not the greatest matchups that we did. So now we're using a Body Slam, and now he's like, great, I just took out both his shields. I am up 1 shield, so I'm gonna let that Raichu go down. He did as much damage as he was able to. So now we're gonna be going in and doing our own Body Slam. But remember, our Vigoroth against his Vigoroth, and we have no shields. We're like, oh no, this is a problem. And now we have a Raichu and a Porygon in the back, and we're like, okay, this is gonna be a problem. So now we pull off another counter, our Vigoroth goes down, and now we're gonna be bringing in our own Raichu. Again, he doesn't have any shields, we don't have any shields, so this Body Slam is gonna do some hurt. So now he brings us into the yellow, but now we're like, okay, you know what? We gotta get some damage done. We gotta be able to pull this off. So we're gonna be using a Thunder Punch, and we're gonna be able to almost get that Vigoroth down. We're hoping to get him down. Do we get him down? We do get him down, and we're like, okay, you know what? Now we need to pull off a Thunder Punch, no matter what it is. And it is a Noctowl. We're like, this is amazing. This is a Noctowl. But if only we had Raichu with just a little bit more health, would have been able to win that matchup. But now we have a Porygon, and Porygon takes forever to get to the charge moves. I swear, while using Porygon, I was about to have a stroke. Like, I was losing my mind of how slow these charge moves actually go off. It was fun using them, I'm not gonna lie. The battles were actually fun, but I was losing my mind. And we're like, okay, cool. We almost got that Noctowl down. I was like stressed to get that move off. We're so close to getting those charge moves, but that is the end of round 3. As you guys can see, Porygon is pretty decent in some matchups, but also pretty terrible in others. Again, I'm personally probably not going to be using Porygon, but it was something I was thinking about from the beginning of the Jungle Cup, so I thought I would share it with you. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next deep dive video.